Okay, good day and good morning. This is Chris. Welcome back to another SEO video. And in today's SEO video, what I would like to discuss is how to optimize your SEO content in 2019, moving into 2020. So that will be in today's video, how to optimize your content and some optimization of your content tips, and that will be in today's video. So let's run through them briefly now. So try not to write complicated. Remember, write to the beginner, write so everyone can understand. Just because you're an expert does not mean that everyone else is. You want to make sure that your grammar is on point. Grammarly is very popular. However, Hemingway is probably a better option. Your page speed is ideal nowadays. Everybody's saying try to keep it under 3 seconds or less. I say 1 second or 2, but really focus on your time to first byte. Now, make sure your external links going out to relevant, highly relevant, trusted sources. You're linking out to trusted sources that are relevant. Your page is that as well too in Google's eyes. Let's move on to the next thing, internal linking. Make sure you're passing your link equity from your most powerful pages to the pages, of course, that are relevant, pushing them up, because you could write the best content if it does not show up on SERPs for other people to view and enjoy, then it was a waste. Make sure you're using plenty of images, videos, infographics, charts. Make sure you're using itemized lists. Make sure you're using bullet points. The next piece is break up your chunks of information. You do not want to have a continuous piece of text. You want to make sure that you're breaking it up. The very next thing is avoid boring your reader. So try to use quizzes, pop-ups, polls, anything to keep your reader engaged. And that is everything for your SEO optimization tips for 2019. So let's start off. Let's pick a good color here. What color do we want to go with? Let's go with, how about green? Can you guys see green? All right, let's go with number 1. So when you're optimizing your content, one of the main things that you want to keep in mind when you're optimizing your content will be that, remember, not everyone is an expert like you, okay, on your particular topic. So one of the things to keep in mind when you're optimizing your content would be to simply write to the beginner user, okay? A lot of SEOs may say write to a 9th grade level or a 8th grade level or whatever whatever it might be, but don't conform to thinking like that. Think along the lines that you're writing to a beginner and cover all of the topics. So that's going to be one. Right to the beginner. So let's do right to the beginner. Okay, so number 2. All right, so one of the things that's very, very important when optimizing your SEO content in 2019 is going to be your grammar, okay? So there are some popular tools, all right? I hate writing on this thing. I'm not going to lie to you guys. There are some popular tools such as Grammarly. I don't know if you've ever heard of Grammarly, but I'm not a big fan Okay? So what I like to use is another product, another application, whatever you want to call it. It's called the Hemingway Writer. Anytime I see a flock going to a particular tool, I always look for the alternative. The best alternative that I have found is going to be the Hemingway Writer. So check that out. It's definitely a Grammarly. It's definitely a Grammarly alternative that I think that you guys might like. Okay, so the next thing that's going to be on the list for optimizing your content for SEO is going to be, you need to make sure that your page speed is 1 second into 2 seconds. I know a lot of people say 3 seconds, 4 seconds, under 5 seconds. The fact of the matter is optimizing your content for speed is a ranking factor. Google has admitted to this. So speed is definitely very, very important when optimizing your content. Okay. You want to try to get to 1 to 2 seconds when you're optimizing your content. But really, like I mentioned in other videos, the thing that you're trying, or the key factor that you're trying to hit, is going to be your time to first bite. So TTFB, time to first bite. Now, how you can gauge this, there are numerous tools out there. The one that I like to use for gauging your page speed is called GT Metrics. So that is GT Metrics. Okay? That's gtmetrics.com. Now, I'm not sponsored or anything. I'm giving you these tools and these recommendations from my personal experiences. I actually had a YouTuber message me, and I have a organic site that I've been playing with that I operate on forums to offer services for Instagram, and I just threw up a site to take orders. So please do not be confused by a simple site that I have thrown up very quickly, not optimized at all, to simply take orders from two separate forums. So I just want to get that out of the way. Let's move on into the next tip for optimizing your content. So your internal linking. I may have addressed this in another video. Your internal linking from your most powerful pages. Why is this important for optimizing your SEO content? Is very simple. You can do all of the optimizations and you can do everything under the sun to optimize your SEO content. However, if it does not have enough equity, enough link juice, enough power from the other powerful pages, it's going to take you longer to rank. So all of your hard work would really be irrelevant. So that's going to be one of my next tips, is your internal linking. Make sure you're internally linking properly on your page. That will help your optimization of your SEO content. Now let's move on to the next tip. Since we're talking about links, the next tip will be your external links. So when you have a page, and you have your content, you're going to put your most valuable keywords up top, right? Because that's what you want to do. I'll talk about that in another video. When you are linking out to other pages or external links, right? You want to make sure that they are to credible sources. This is part of your on-page SEO and your SEO content optimization. This is very important. If you're not linking out to credible sources, why would your page be considered credible? So you have to really take this into consideration when you're creating your content, when you're curating your content, to make sure that you are linking out to other valuable sources of information that are highly relevant and trusted to your page. So let's move on to some other tips that will help with the optimization of your page. Okay, so when you're creating your page, one of the things that is very, very important for your optimization is going to be plenty of images. Okay, so make sure you're using plenty of images. What actually makes a higher relevant, a higher quality content page will be plenty of images. Try to use video. Okay. You can use something called infographics. Okay, so you can use infographics. And then also another really good one is you can use charts. Okay, so charts work out pretty good. So you have your images, you have videos, you have infographics, and you have your charts. This will help make up a high quality page. Okay, guys, I hope you like my little drawings here. Let's move on into the very next thing. When you're creating your pages, okay, a very good optimization tip when you're creating your pages is going to be, let's just say you have your pages, okay? What you do not want to have, your content crowded together, huge blocks of text, blocks of text, blocks of text, blocks of text. This is not going to keep your reader happy. It's not going to keep them inclined to stay on your page. It's hard to read, it's hard to digest. So when you're creating this is a big no-no. Okay? What you will really want to do is when you're creating your pages, okay, guys, you want to make sure that you have your blocks of text, maybe an image, right? You'll have your text, you have a paragraph. Break it up with those infographics, right? Break it up with an infographic. Maybe break it up with a video, and then have some more blocks of text. So an optimization tip that I want to give you is keep everything fun. Keep everything, tightly organized. Keep your reader happy. Not tons of blocks of text, but break it up with videos. Break it up with other key pieces of information. Maybe an infographic, charts. Things along those lines. The next thing that I want to lead into is going to be your headlines. Headlines are very, very important, okay? I should just put a star here. Headlines are going to be one of the most important things. There's two things to keep in mind. One is going to be, it needs to be persuasive, it needs to be catchy, so maybe spend some time digesting some content yourself on content writing, headline writing, things that are very persuasive. This will help with attracting new eyes, but do not forget your keywords. So it needs to be both. As an SEO, for your SEO content optimization, you need to not only make sure that it's catchy and appealing to the eye to draw new people in, but also make sure that your headlines have your keywords in them. So it needs to be a perfect harmony of both. So let's just move on to the next thing. I've heard another SEO talk about this as a pattern interrupt. I think that it might have been Brian Dean. So pattern interrupts, or it might have been Neil Patel, but I like that terminology as a pattern disrupt. So let's just say you have your page, it's very well optimized. You have your well optimized title, that's here. You have your images, you have your text, you might have a video, right? And then as they're reading, they're getting bored. They're starting to, maybe fall into the content haze, as I call it, right? You're reading, you're gathering your information. What you want to do is you want to make sure you give them a pattern interrupt. Some of the pattern interrupts that I have implemented on client sites are the number one best one lately is polls. You could have a poll pop up. It could be obviously relevant to what they're reading or relevant to your overall page's, topic. But polls work really good. You can use quizzes. What else did I write? Oh, bonuses. There's numerous things that you can use. Quotes is another really good one. Quotes from maybe some other piece of information that's highly relevant. Um, Using quotes works really good too. And it could be a pop-up quote, right? Hey, did you know? Or take a look at this fun fact, something along those lines. So that's going to be that tip. And that's really, I went through my line here of notes. I try to keep in topic. Those are the things that I wanted to cover. I hope you found value in this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.